Hey, hello there. So, I was thinking if you're thinking of maybe visiting a little bit of the old town here in the city of Buenos Aires, I'm gonna show you around a little bit, just a little bit, so you can check it out. So this is what the old town is about. So this is kind of the oldest part of the city. It's not like sorry, I have you know some rests of a little flu that I that I that I got a couple weeks ago. So I have some residue, some coughing residue. So anyway, so this is definitely a really old part of town, the oldest area. Not literally the oldest, because if I have to be honest, I do have to be honest. The oldest is that way, which is Plaza de Mayo direction, towards Plaza de Mayo direction, like the pink house and the whole thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, Evita, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, on the balcony and everything else. That's the pink house, which is actually our government house, let's say, like just like the yeah, similar to the White House. You get the idea. Anyway, so this is what the old town is a little bit about. So you have the area, the neighborhood tries to keep some sort of well, I mean, I got into a tricky one. I was going to say that the neighborhood tries to keep some sort of resemblance to the old days. For example, keeping this stone flooring, typical from when the city was founded, um, except it's not actually uh, the old one for real. I mean, and when I say the old one, I mean the original ground floor, I should say, was done probably about, was done between, I would say mid 17th century, 18th century. Um, Believe it or not, in 16 something we already had the first, what we would call nowadays inhabitants of the city. Anyway, so this this was done like in the 90s, mid 90s, something like that, because actually you know, um, they had put before that concrete on the original stone from the late or mid late 17th 8th, sorry, did I say 17th before? I'm so sorry. I should have said 18th 19th century, okay, not 17th, even though there's been um, of course what we call the descubrimiento America, what used to be called the uncovering of the Americas was in the 16th century, um, but it took some time until this area was populated by the actual Spaniards and whatnot. So basically, to make it as short as possible, I would say that um, yeah, the original flooring, so to speak, was done in probably late 18th, early mid 19th century. That's what I meant. So yeah, I would say that. Anyway, so afterwards, it was covered in concrete, and then in the 1990s, city government decided that it would fit um, the style of the neighborhood more to resemble to take out the concrete, which was really difficult, by the way, and really problematic and complicated. But they ended up actually taking off the concrete and, you know, collocating, putting on this similar kind of grounding than the original one, which of course the visitor doesn't have to know. They don't need to know all that, okay? But there you go. Just a little side note. And I was going to say that I got into a tricky one because when I mentioned that, that this area, the neighbors and the city government and whatnot, they try to keep some originality or some, they try for the neighborhood to look, to be taken care of in terms of its historical weight. But because, by the way, this is Telmo, I mentioned, right? So here it says, for example, it's a historical protection area. Please don't fix any advertisements or don't do graffiti or anything, which obviously nobody does. Here, by the way, if you're into bakery and stuff, you can have good. This is Bolivar Street. You can have good muffins and stuff and little cakes like that. And even that guy Willie, the guy that that owns the place, when he at least with me it happened, and I guess he does it with everybody. When for whatever reason, for example, he's close to shut the day, the he's about to shut to end his working day and whatever, he gifts you rests of bakery and donuts and whatever you find there. Here, they're not called donuts; they're called like media lunas and churros and all that stuff. Churros is actually heritage from Spain, as far as I'm concerned. That's where they come from, and they're so tasty. I've heard that churros are vegan, not the ones that have dulce de leche inside, but like the empty ones, so to speak. But I'm not sure. I should check. I'm not sure. I think that's not accurate. That has to be animal grease or fat, not grease. Um, that there's no way that that's vegetable fat. Anyway, vegetable fat. That sounds strange. Anyway, so um, this is Bolivar Street, and the flags are all over the place. I mean, it's been a couple weeks ago, a couple weekends ago. It was well, talking about Spain. The heritage, the architectural heritage. Oh, by the way, air conditioners are allowed here, whereas I know that in other places. Well, that has to do with what I was saying before when I was admitting that I was getting into a tricky one. If I if I were to say that here, the antique quality of the neighborhood is taken care of, that's really tricky. It's not necessarily. In fact, I know that in other cities in the world where you have old places like this, it's not allowed to put air conditioners on, hanging there. I think that in Paris, for example, you can do that. But anyway, here you can do almost anything, especially if you want to arrange with the inspector or police man in charge, if you know what I mean. So this is an example of what I was trying to say before. I was telling I was telling to myself or saying out loud that because this is old town, they try to keep the spirit of the funding area of the country, because if you think about it, this is where the country was funded and founded both. But Actually, no. Actually, this should be protected by law, this area. For example, you're not supposed to build something super tall in terms of buildings and stuff, but still you can do it. This is, you know, the proof is in the pudding. This is what I was meaning before. You actually can't do anything. This is a very new, obviously a very new, but I mean, this was done like 2 years ago or something. And so, and then you have this horrible, horrible building beside an amazingly beautiful, like English style or German style. Um, this is actually a parking lot, but or a parking place, I should say. But anyway, so you know, even for example, these lights here, they are not original neither. It's like they put them there, um, looking as if they were original or all like that, which is all good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing or anything. I'm just saying that this area is not exactly how it should be taken care of. For example, if it would have been if it would actually be taken care of properly, you wouldn't see those ugly buildings like that. I think, okay, in my opinion, anyway. So in San Telmo, if you've heard about this area, you know already that you can find all kinds of old places like this. Well, not old places, places that sell vintage stuff, toys and whatnot. Topo Gigio there, old cans, stuffed animals from who knows when. And yeah, beautiful cans, tea cans, bottles. These guys here. This is. I don't remember the name of this character, but I know it. It Peggy or something, I think. Um, so Wilson, is that the same? Is that the like the tennis rackets and balls brand? So you have lots of places like this. You know, all things from the 90s and before, and the Smurfs. I was crazy with the Smurfs. I remember when they just showed up here in our country, like in late 80s or something. I was crazy about them. I've had my stage. And so you have old carousel parts. And for example, this is an old picture of Buenos Aires. You can see the obelisk there. And the cows, I can't quite see because this is a very dark glass. But what are those cows doing there? I don't get it really. I should see it more in detail, but I'm not sure. Yeah, there are some cows there anymore, obviously. Anyway, somebody's smoking like black. How do you call it? Is that black tobacco? It smells nice. So places like this. This one's obviously a very serious one because it has, you know, it's very well taken care of and preserved. So these kinds of buildings, thankfully, you still can see a few of those, but not not always. And from time to time, they demolish. For example, this is what I mean when I talk about the area is not taken care of properly and whatnot, even though the speech says so. For example, these shouldn't be allowed, man. With a building as old as this and as cute as this, this shit, sorry, this shouldn't be allowed, I think. Breaking the wall like that and stuff. Están tomando cervecita, drinking some beer. ¿Qué onda? ¿No está un poco fresquito para cervecita? Pero es más fuerte que ustedes la cerveza. Bueno, acá estoy compartiendo. Saludos, gracias por participar. Anyway, so they're enjoying their beers, and I was asking them, hey, isn't it a little bit cold for for a beer? But that's a stupid and innocent question, right? From a person that really doesn't drink much beer at all. Anyway, Yeah, I'm looking forward to a nice cup of coffee actually right now, to be honest. That's what I'm gonna do when I get home. So there you go. I'll show you around just a little bit of the market because this one's gonna be relatively short, but you get a glimpse of what the walking tours are about and my thing, if that makes sense. So, so it's an interesting mixture between the super old parts of the city and the horrible new buildings or relatively new buildings like this one. Again, which supposedly they shouldn't be allowed, but they are. Before we get to the market, before we enter the market, I'm going to show you. Here you see one of the entrances of the market from 1897, if I read correctly. But yeah, it's definitely from the ends of in the 19th century. And this is Ernesto Sabato, the writer. If you're interested, you let me know. He was a very interesting character, and he was pretty close to Borges, by the way. Um, I've read only one, so probably one of his most famous, or yeah, famous pieces is Sobre héroes y tumbas. I don't know in English how it was exactly translated, but maybe you can say, about heroes and tombs, or tombs, sorry, tombs, or not heroes and tombs, but not about, maybe on heroes and tombs, but I'm not sure. So anyway, he was kind of an anarchist, and I read his last, or the one before the last book, which was an autobiography, but the music here is awful, so I have to go. So, what happens with San Telmo, with this area, contrary to Palermo, so if you arrive to the city, you're gonna get both. So, probably they're going to recommend you right away neighborhoods like San Telmo or Palermo to visit, especially if they especially if you, so the woman, I don't know if you could hear this woman here, this lady was asking like the waiter whether Argentina was playing today or not, which no, actually Argentina is playing in 2 days. um, so what was I saying? I opened too many windows. uh, if somebody's there, please remind me to finish up some commentary that I was making about the flags. Anyway, nothing too transcendental, though. I'm going to show you a part here that is full of graffiti and stuff, stickers and stuff, which is this one. I'm going to go a little bit further away so you can appreciate it better. Um, Please ask if you have any questions. This is obviously the president. This is Trotsky. No, this is Lenin. Sorry. Oh man, the fried smell, the smell of fried. Okay. So okay, I'll try to finish one concept at a time. So one of the things that I was saying, well, okay, I'll sorry, I just messed up now. I lost track, so I'm gonna go directly to the little commentary of. Oh yes, I was referring to Palermo and stuff. Sorry. Yeah. So one commentary at a time. If you come here, depending on the profile, on your profile, you're probably gonna get. They're probably going to recommend you to come visit San Telmo and Palermo, which is another neighborhood, like bohemian, hip bars, as you can see, that kind of thing, Not so fancy, not so posh, I should say. But San Telmo is slightly, or like, you know, noticeably, um, less posh than Palermo. Okay, so this is a southern area of this is a southern area of the city, whereas Palermo is more towards the center north of the city. And yeah, there's many differences. We are nearer areas that are more quote unquote marginal. I'm not finding a better word, but you get the idea. So you have maybe more people sleeping on the streets here, that kind of thing. This is the take that I wanted to show you, where you can see all the graffiti there, because otherwise you wouldn't appreciate the whole thing. I'm gonna show you also. Please let me know if you hear okay. Um, I'm not seeing the chat here, but I think that maybe I missed. I might have missed to click on live chat, but it's actually better. Sorry, drop the questions afterwards if you have any, because if I'm walking on the streets and stuff, it's a bit uncomfortable to be reading. But anyway, um, I'm gonna show you a messy painting or graffiti. Or before I was talking about all these flags, and I was starting to tell you that recently we've had a long holiday, because it was there were a couple of like local national celebrations. For example, one was the flag. This is a gaucho, like an Argentinian cowboy from the Pampas. It's very simplified, my explanation, but you get the idea. Interesting door, by the way. So um, there's been a couple of national celebrations, like during the month of June, but um, but I'm not sure about whether the flags everywhere have to do with that. In other words, I my suspicion is that maybe they have to do a little bit with that, because they look like they were put there by the city government, but I'm not sure. Like, not from local people, neighbors, but from the government. Not sure. Again, I'm not sure, but if that's the case, well, maybe it has to do with National Flag Day and whatnot. But like it looks more so that this is because of the World Cup, okay? And that's why I wanted to show you the Messi with the ears celebration, the Messi painting there. Um, oh, there's a Luca Prodan painting just right around the corner as well. Um, anyway, so that's for a long conversation, but I will try to sum up. So I'm gonna sum it up this way. In general, Argentinians, so while I tell you this, I'm entering the market right now. So I'm gonna be entering the market, the old market that I was telling you before, that it's from like 1897, if I remember, or 1880s. Sorry, I'll say it again. 18. Well, here it is, 1897. Okay. So so Argentinians in general, very generally, I mean, take it literally because it's really like that, tend to celebrate their Argentinian, sorry, their Argentinian spirit when Argentina is playing the World Cup, for example, and that kind of thing, and not so much when there's a national holiday. I guess, it's very likely that we're not the only ones that do that, that tend to, yeah, pay more attention to their Argentinian spirit and their love for the flag only when there's some soccer match or whatever. I know that maybe this happens in other countries. Definitely, this should happen in other countries as well. But here it's very, very noticeable. Like, it's very obvious and very, you know what I mean? This is obviously messy devotion, which I don't care. I mean, what I mean is I'm not offended because I obviously love Messi. So it's not that it bothers me or anything, but I'm just noticing, I'm just commenting on the fact that um, I'm just commenting on the fact that Argentinians in general don't care much about their festivities in terms of when the flag was found, invented, and when the people that died, the guys that died for this country. It's a celebration for them, so it's a holiday, and people go and eat asados and they have fun and they get together with friends. It's not that they think about it much. In other words, if you go to, for example, Plaza de Mayo, the little, well, not little, but the main square in front of the main church and the pink house and whatnot, on a holiday, on a national holiday, meaning on a day where um, uh, something national is celebrated. For example, I don't know, the passing or the birth. In general, they celebrate the passings, not the births, um, but of some national hero or something like San Martin or Belgrano, etc. People don't do much there. They don't attend, there. You don't see them, doing anything or putting on their uh, Argentinian jerseys or the flags anywhere. What we call la escarapela, which is an Argentinian little rounded flag that we put on near our hearts when it's a national holiday. They don't pay much attention. But then, so this is 38,000 pesos and 23. This is milanesa sandwich, and this is steak, obviously. Maybe bife de chorizo. Yeah, bife de chorizo. And 38,000 or almost 40,000 pesos is around, let me see, because it changes every day, but it's something like 40,000. It's like for 40 $40. No, $40. I'm so bad at math. I'll write it down later. So you can see soccer everywhere. So how much? So the peso now is yes, maybe $40. Or am I exaggerating? $40? No, less. Maybe sorry. Maybe $18, something like that. I'm sorry, I'm not great at math. I try though. I practice it to get better. Anyway, so not that I care much about you eating that, because obviously I love animals, so I wouldn't recommend. But I know that, of course, most of the people who come here actually they come to taste the classic Argentinian asado, right? The meat. So yeah, long story short, I guess where I was trying to get was to say that Argentinians put on flags everywhere, etc. When Argentina plays soccer, etc. But they don't care much about, yeah, Argentina in other regards, in terms of their love for the national flag. Okay, did I make myself clear? Because I digressed a lot and I didn't get to the point directly, really. Anyway, so what was the name of this Korean author, Korean slash English author? Um, Kung Wang, no, Chung. Sorry, I really don't remember it. I will eventually. So this is a writer who I don't know if he invented the concept, but he definitely put out there big time the concept of no places, no lugares, no places. And the market back in the day when it was founded in the late um, 19th century, it was really a market like this. This is less, one of the less places. No, not one of the less. One of the remaining places that you have that are quote unquote original, quote unquote. Um, they sell, the meat, and there's the neighbor there, the lady there, with the little carriage thing, and she's doing her everyday or weekly shopping in the market, which is what the market was before. So the market historically was that, and you could see, for example, I was showing you the vegetable. um, stands or the vegetable stores or parlors or whatever, these vegetable places are also quote unquote original. Meaning, I say quote unquote because probably in 1897 this was not here necessarily, or maybe yes. In fact, there's a couple of these places, these stands, let's say, that were the same when the market was founded, and for many generations they kept the thing. But okay, regardless of whether this in 1897 was a vegetable store or not, what I mean is that they sell stuff for people, from for the neighbors, for everyday neighbors, okay? And so slowly but surely, I would say, it seems like these places um, are disappearing more and more, and these no places, quote unquote, are colonizing the market. You know what I mean? It's becoming really commercial. So San Telmo has cycles, meaning San Telmo has cycles, meaning sometimes they it's more posh. Sometimes it's more, you know, it's never as posh as Palermo. Okay. Oh my God, no reggaeton. Let's run away from here now. So it's never as posh as Palermo, but it has its stages where it starts to be a little posher than before, more commercial than before. Sometimes it gets back to not being posh, and then it becomes a bit posh again. Well, long story short, it cycles, but it never gets to a point where it's super posh, okay? If that makes sense. It's more like working class people and whatnot. Whereas Palermo is more, a bit richer people, right? Are you following me? Anyway, so in a way, it's like the spirit of San Telmo prevails, but not so much in the market, because the market, again, I think it's disappearing a little bit as we knew it. Okay, for example, this place, which is so cool and so cute, it has all, organic stuff, nutrition stuff, vegan stuff. It's really nice. I like it, whatever, but it's not original from the market. Okay, the market used to be, the fisherman, the guy, the Italian immigrant who sold the meat and the eggs that came directly from the cows. It was an actual exchanging on produces and products. From the producers to the neighbors, when obviously San Telmo was not too crowded or anything. But this place here, for example, those places there, the big TV, that was not that was not here when I was a kid at all, right? You can see the amazingly beautiful structure, like the iron structure. You have, by the way, lots of cats living above, and I know the lady, the girl who takes care of them and sterilize them and whatnot. And when the market shuts at night, they all come here and they occupy the market. Isn't that cute? Anyway, there, thank God, thanks to this lady, Carolina. Um, all the cats there are sterilized already, and other ladies that help out with that. Anyway, so these are not can you see the contrast between an actual guy selling meat to the lady there, versus this place here, Market Burger, that has nothing to do, see all that plastic and stuff, nothing to do with, anything originary, if that makes sense, okay? There you have the chori place. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna show you the vitro. The vitro is original. I don't know if you can get to actually see the colors there, but there you go. It's an amazing roof, and the vitro there, the glass windows, Um, the windows, the colorful, the, the colored windows are original, but this no, you know what I mean? This is all modern and fancy and hip. You know, it's like it gets hipster and hipster over time. The neighborhood gets, the market in particular gets hipster and hipster, right? And of course, some people are angry with that. Some people are not content with that. You know, this is also not original. Obviously, I don't need, needless to say, right? But I don't know if I'm angry about it. I used to be angry about these kinds of things when I was younger. I'm in my 40s now, so I used to be kind of angry when I was in my early 20s and whatnot, and mid 20s even, and I was on sort of an anarchist, and I wouldn't. Well, I still dislike very much. I'm gonna show you what I still dislike a lot. For example, I have to be honest with you. Um, I kind of dislike a lot, for example, these kinds of shops inside of the market, for many, many reasons. Because this is one of these places where you can get like cheap Chinese stuff, right? Whereas, for example, this is new, okay, but it has to do with jewelry. I don't know, at least has a little bit more to do with, I don't know, arts or architecture, if you know what I mean. I don't know, whatever. Um, this one's new too. It's new too, but it has to do. It's everything dulce de leche related. Let me know if you know what dulce de leche is. But at least like the style has a little bit more to do with the market. This sells leather stuff, which is very typical from Argentina too. Of course, it's super commercial, etc., but not as cheap, really cheap as this. It's like the fake jewelry, which is, actually plastic and stuff like that. Everything comes from petrol and, petroleum, and again, like cheap stuff that, you know, mostly made in China. And yeah, not really. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with, so to speak, so to say, like the spirit of the market, but I might be saying stupid things. Anyway, so um, in a way, it's inevitable, That's I guess what I was trying to get to, where I was trying to get to. It's inevitable. I don't know if to say progress is inevitable, because I don't know if this is progress. That's something that we could eventually discuss on. But yeah, I used to be, for example, one of my students. She's a young lady. She's 27, I think. And so the other day we were talking about how the neighborhood is changing in this regard that I'm telling you about, um, in this aspect, because it's not, craftsmen done everything, and the neighborhood, the old town was had more to do with artisans and like the essence of the culture and whatnot. So everything Chinese, they don't like it, and you can change dollars, euros here. Yeah, and she was really sort of mad about it, and I understood her and I agree with her. But maybe because I'm older, the thing is that I cope sometimes with things differently. And again, I don't know if whether I should use the term progress, but I would say that um, like change is inevitable. I guess that's what I meant. So this is really bad. This this city this city tours packs that they sell usually are really bad. Sorry, but I mean I don't want to. You know, in general, it's like, well, I mean, it's not really. How can I say? Well, mind you, this symbol is Argentinian pesos, okay? I think, yeah, definitely. Anyway, yeah, it's not 60. It's not $60,000, but so this this tema que ven, This is a place where they have lots of animals drugged. It should be banned. It should have been for decades. So this is a place where they have, for example, they have tigers and lions all drugged up, and stupid people go there and take pictures with them. You know, the whole business of drugging wild animals that have nothing to do. There shouldn't be here. They shouldn't be here at all. And big business, it's a long other talk. I happen to be like an animal rights activist and rescuer and whatnot, have been for the last 20 years, so I know bits and pieces about the subject, and it's really really complicated. People involved are really corrupt, so many times people that should, I mean, we have bad laws about it. That's for one, firstly. And then, so we're working on changing the laws, but it's still not happening. And also, few laws that we have, they, and they get the money or whatever. They're even animal, mistreaters, or how can I say, like, they torture animals, and they're really bad people. I know them personally, many of them, not all of them, obviously, but these people that are supposed to avoid and ban and prohibit all these kinds of places, they make these places possible, and they make lots of money with them, and yeah, it's really bad. So anyway, it's been 40 minutes already. I'm gonna start wrapping this up. Well, if you want me to, I can continue, but I can see the chat. Maybe, shorter, the better, right? So there's the other entrance there. Well, I'll take the other one. So this is a typical antiques. So when I was telling you before about, this is all new here, new, everything new. But this one, no, this one's not new. You get the idea, you know what I mean? This is typical San Telmo. You have antique places like that, and the grocery. And so when the market started, it was, as I said before, the groceries, the vegetables, or whatever, or the meat places, um, and stuff like that. Like, as a market in the eight, like the late 19th century, um, that was it. I mean, you could buy and sell food and whatnot. Then over time, it started being more about those places and antique shops. As San Telmo starting to get more popular, and the market changed it, even the old town, the neighborhood itself changed its character slowly. Eventually, there started to be lots and lots of antique shops in San Telmo. In fact, San Telmo is the place where you can find more antique shops per square meter in the whole city and country, I would say, because it's full, of these antique shops that I'm telling you about. And so these antique shops are, these kinds of places are typical San Telmo, right? These places like this are typical San Telmo. But ¿querés saludar a alguien? Esa. Okay, so these places are typical San Telmo, um, but not the others. Okay, you get the idea. This place I like because it, even though it's not like, again, original from San Telmo and whatnot, maybe my student would be pissed off. I don't know, but it's actually an old Mamoche. I think it sounds to me like an old, like, organization that brings to the city, to Buenos Aires, brings stuff from the north of Argentina, from northern Argentina, and it's so cute, everything. Let me show you a little bit around. ¿Puedo filmar un poquitito por acá? Gracias, permiso. Thank you. Bueno, so you can see the mates here. Es Mamoche, sí, lo estaba mencionando recién. ¿Cómo se encuentra en redes, Mamoche? Vamos lo tomamos acá, mirá, eso.
Ahí está, genial.
Perfecto. Sí, yo comentaba recién que es como hace un montón que están, ¿no? No digo el local, pero si mi mamá compraba. Sí, sí, espectacular. So you can see here like different tools for, for everyday, eating and having your mate in the afternoon or in the morning or whatever. So you have many, many different kinds of mates, but it's done from real and actual, let's say, originary people. I mean, this is not commercial. This doesn't come from China or anything. This is the real thing. It's all artisans and handmade, crafts work. So they are so, so cute. See the earrings here? It's actually silver and alpaca.
This is from Mendoza.
Mendoza, yes. So
Me
it's
lo hace el tío de mi jefa, que es artesano.
amazing. So it's not all from the north.
Claro, tiene familia artesana en Mendoza, ¿viste?
Nice. I would say,
Algunas cositas. Vos pregúntame todo.
see,
Corte.
yes, see, because I remember that my idea was that everything came from the north, but not necessarily, right? It's from different provinces of Argentina, not only the north. So you have silver, you have alpaca, you have. This is vegetal, right? This is.
This is jaguar.
Qué lindo.
River Vegetal, this is
Yes.
North Argentina, this is Main Community Uchi.
Ah, okay.
Plan, bromelia y Hieronymi.
Right.
It's very nice. Tin también, natural. Full natural.
Everything natural here. That's what's
Yes,
so beautiful. It's very difficult to make, and it's very important to support the national, the national work and these people that are artisans, and not, avoid obviously fast fashion and all that stuff, because this is real and beautiful, and the quality is amazing. It's gonna last forever. So thank you so much. Thank you. Nos vemos, gracias. So this is 96. If you come here, please check it out. It's Mamoche Argentina, Mamoche Argentina. And you know what? I bought here, and my mom used to buy stuff here as well. Look how beautiful these baskets are, and almost vegetable. I shouldn't say vegetable. I should say that it's vegetal. Like it's I would say most of it, no animals harmed, everything natural, everything comes from, and it's handmade by originary people, or quote unquote originary people, because that's a term that obviously is not like 100% objective, and, but let's use that to just, um, so you can get the idea. And why do I say quote unquote? I say quote unquote because it's super simple. Empanadas here. These are not the best though. Okay, I don't recommend this one. If you're looking for some good empanadas to taste and good price, don't do it here. I'll show you other places. They're not really good. Nor are they the most, the cheapest. So when I say original people, quote unquote, it's so simple, the concept. What I mean is that, what I mean is that if you refer to, if you, that woman there almost, she kind of kicked me. It didn't show on the video, but I was concerned that she didn't burn me. She didn't get me burned, I should say, because she was smoking. She was totally uh, out of it. She was drugged, or maybe probably she was drunk. Anyway, so yeah, but very uncomfortable. That can happen. So it's simple in the sense that if you say originary people, that gives you the. Oh my God, this is so bad. Oh, this is so bad. Oof, horrible. How sad. How sad. Don't you think this is super sad? I mean, there's there should come a day when we understand that it's time, man. It's time to stop this. It's really time to stop this. As Ricky Gervais was saying the other day, I saw him on Instagram saying something. He was like, I became vegetarian and vegan a long time ago. I think he said a decade ago or 20 years, but I think he said a decade ago, and I'm okay. It's okay. In fact, he was, because there's this myth that if you become a vegetarian and whatnot, you become instantly super weak and whatnot. And it was so nice because um, he was saying, not only am I not weaker than before, but I've never been stronger in my life. Well, this is a no place, un no lugar, as this author, the Korean author, would say, with that awful music there and everything constructed in a way that is not original. I mean, it's cool, it's cute, it's hipster, but you know what? Beware hipsterish. Beware the hipster, escape the hipster thing. A little bit of his hipster is not so bad if you've worked the whole week and whatever, um, and you want to go to a fancy place with a friend or whatever, have a good time. It's all good. But when everything becomes the same, like everything's Starbucks like and whatnot, like industrial, everything looks the same, has no spirit, no character, blah blah blah. Well, you need to go and find other places. Well, at least that's what I do. So I'm a little afraid that the market will, I don't know, will lose its personality, if that makes sense. I'll show you a little bit of vintage clothes now as well. Anyway, so originary people, why is that term not too precise? Well, I think because if you think about it, if you say originary people, escuchan, can you hear the Cadillacs? This is a national band. Like it started being a ska band, but then they changed styles. Anyway, if you say original peoples, hello. If you say original people, then who was there before? Do I make sense? I mean, if you say that some are the originary or some are the originals, then there was no one before them, and that's not the case. There was always someone before them, and before those someones, there were dinosaurs and whatnot. So, who can tell exactly who are the originaries? Do I make sense? Um, for example, I don't know, Incas were a very powerful tribe or people, I should say, not tribe. In some smaller part of Argentina, like not too much on the territory of Argentina, but obviously Peru and Mexico and what they even, you know, approached Mexico and whatnot, and they were super big, huge, like Mayas and Incas, Mayas, Aztecas, Mexicas, and Incas. But why were they so big? Well, mostly because most of them, not all of them, some were a bit vegetarian and stuff. This is really bad. This is ebony, right? This is really bad. But not, many, most of these big populations of indigenous peoples or people were no, they were they is this ebony as well? I don't know. This probably is clay or something. Um, they destroyed other people. They got rid of the ones that were there before. So because they were more powerful or whatever, or even more violent, that's why they were able to last as long as they did. And other civilizations, or I should say, yeah, peoples perished. They didn't make it because others, again, were more powerful and whatnot. So that means that they were not the originary there, the first ones there. Okay, that's why the term to me sounds not too accurate. Maybe we can say indigenous people, and that's fine. So this, when I was a kid, bus drivers would use this to give you the change, the change. They would push the buttons there, 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents, or whatever, and they would give you the change because of course, it was not digital or anything. There were a lot less people living here, right? But So they would, you would get to the bus, and the bus would charge you whatever in cash. You would pay cash, and yeah. Oh my God, what happened to Jim's? Jim is slimmer, and Janice is like a bit chubbier. Carlos Gardel is like looks like El Bosco painting. Yeah, they all look very different. Something went wrong here. Something definitely went wrong. Okay, guys. So there you go. That's that. I hope you like the market. I really have to go now. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, I've shown you around a little bit. Let me show you one more place. This is Mexican food here. Mexican food. So you have, yeah, you have food from different places here. Not only, obviously, not only Argentinian. You have Mexican. You have Peruvian. You have um, Chinese and whatnot, and also there's even like a Thai place here. Food from Thailand. I like this place. I mean, it's cute and whatever. Let me see. No, sorry. The place is cute and whatnot, but you know, Thai food from Thailand in general is super cruel to animals. So I'm not a big fan in that regard. It's really cruel food, but it's so cute the place and everything. Okay, and this one's also relatively new, meaning it's not like original from San Telmo. Okay, I hope you have an idea of what San Telmo is like. If you want to, of course, I'm going to be showing you other places, also places that are not really touristic. I'm interested in showing you that as well, and yeah, and perhaps Palermo, somewhere else. I might be taking probably some trains soon to show you maybe the periphery a little bit. Um, Not so much like the center of the city necessarily, like now, but more so, showing you around um, other places that are not so popular. So anyway, guys, vintage clothes here, that kind of thing. Old dressing gowns, cute, right? The old dressing gowns, I love them. Anyway, cheers, guys. It's been a pleasure showing you around, and I hope to get to know you personally soon at some point. Um, and yeah, there you go. San Telmo Market, guys. San Telmo Market. Goodbye, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the week. Talk to you later. Bye.